everyone, and welcome to New Trials, the podcast. I'm Preya.
And I'm Melanie.
The New Trials of Captor, Sakura, Syaoran, and Friends is a popular ongoing fanfic by wishluv, and it's based off of Clam's Captor Sakura. And in each episode, we'll do a deep dive of a chapter. Let's get into it. So, Melanie, do you have any memorable summer vacations that come to mind?
Oh my gosh, good question. Yes, actually. So there was one epic summer where, so I have a single mom and, I've kind of talked about that before, but anyway, but there was one summer where she took it upon herself to drive all the way from Kansas, clear across the whole of the US, all the way over to California. And we stopped and saw a family that lives, I have a bunch of family that lives in California. So we saw a bunch of a family that lives in California, a whole bunch of California stuff. So that was that whole drive. And then on the way back, we went down through Arizona, saw some more family, and then came back up and around, back up to Kansas. It was so long. And that was before there was such thing as having like DVD players in your car or having a cell phone to entertain yourself with. So the only thing my brother and I had was just ourselves to entertain each other. I think we had the Pokemon, the first movie soundtrack. And I think we played that until my mom was like, if you put that Pokemon song on one more time. But it was just, I just remember just having the most fondest memories from that trip. And it was just so, so much fun. How about you, Preya?
Well, every time it was Easter holidays, summer vacation, winter break, my dad, he would take us down to New Jersey because we have family there and we have cousins there who are exactly our age. So me being the only girl, I would go down there and I have two girl cousins who are my age. And then my two brothers, they have a boy cousin who's their age. So he's always around girls. So with the six of us, we were like super, super close. And I know that every single time it would be time to go. We were like, Daddy, can we have one more hour just to play? What? And he's like, okay, one more hour. And then we'd play so much. Then be so sad when we had to go. Anyway, one of these trips, instead of just leaving in the middle of the day, we left super, super, super early. And that was like uncharacteristic for us. So there we are thinking we're going to drive back to Montreal, but no, he takes us to a place called Lake George. And Lake George is like, there's a big amusement park and then there's a beach and that's where we ended up spending the whole day. And we rode roller coasters and different rides and we went in the water and it was a really special thing, like a family event that didn't involve like visiting family that my dad did for us. And it was really special.
Oh, that's so fun. Lake George. I'm going to have to look that up. I've never heard of that.
I don't even know. I should still be a thing. When we went, it was the 90s. I'd be surprised if it wasn't a thing. But, when you think of theme parks, you think of Disney and Harry Potter Land and whatnot. But it was pretty cool. And it was a lot of family fun.
Is it in New Jersey?
New York State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like upstate New York, probably. My assumption.
Yeah, it's probably like why is Lake George so famous? Yeah, it has attractions but it also has like the beaches. So yeah. Anyway,
super cool.
I don't know how my dad heard about it, but it was really cool how he just bought tickets for us and we ended up spending the whole day there before going home.
Aw, that's amazing. All right, so then we have some Alliance of the Stars to catch up on because as you guys can maybe tell, this is our first time on Zoom again since my little trip up to Montreal to see my bestie. So the first comment we have is on the New Trials, the audiobook chapter 25, which that is the episode where Mei Lin goes back to Hong Kong. And it's from Carolina. And she said, God, how beautiful this is. With every chapter I reread or listen through these podcasts, the more I love the story. I remember feeling so sorry for Mei Lin and her anguish of not being loved by Syaoran. It's refreshing to reminisce these chapters. It's beautiful to remember every detail. By the way, I love your interpretation of Tomeo. You have a natural grace for that role. Thank you. She's my favorite one to voice. And then we also have another comment from Carolina, and it's from New Trials, the podcast, which is the 26.5, which is the Legacy of the Twins chapter. And Carolina said, I always wondered what will happen to Eureka now that Aaron is an ally of Sakura. What consequences will it bring to break ties with the Dark Ones? Since thanks to that deal that the twins made with Ryuichi and Risa, Eureka stayed alive. I also find it strange and suspicious the way Aaron broke his curse. That is to say, it was way too easy for him to do it. Will the Dark Ones hurt Eureka to punish Aaron? What do you think about that?
I kind of think that maybe they made the deal and then it's not like I want to say that okay, they made the deal. Erica is living. That's great and all, but now that Aaron has broken away, I don't really feel that the Dark Ones have enough agency to come back and it's like, oh, you broke the contract, and now we're not gonna honor our end of the deal, and now your sister's dead. I think it's too long past that. I think the whole point of the deal was it's like come to the dark side, and then what Aaron and Erica do after that, that's going to be more and up to them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm kind of 50-50 to be honest. I think there will be a little bit of consequences, but then I also think there might not be. And it might just be about the heart having the courage to overcome things. And then maybe Erika will as well. As my biggest hope going forward is I really hope Erika also comes onto Sakura's side. I would love to see that. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens.
Maybe the Dark Ones still have a hold on them because Erica is still on their team. And
yes.
I think that's what's keeping everything afloat. And if Erica were to cross over and join Sakura's alliance, I think that's when like it's really gonna go down, and that could be part of the big battle.
Yes, yeah, I think so. So then our next comment from Carolina is on Syaoran's birthday special, the podcast. And she said, hi, girls. I'm very happy to hear your opinions about this chapter, since at the time I read it several years ago, it clarified many things. And at the same time, it opened the door to new issues to be developed. I also agree with Melanie in that I thought it was right that Wish-chan did not describe Syaoran's parents' relationship as perfect, that Ryurin and Yeylin's relationship was imperfect and honest, where Yeylin always knew about Nadesco and the importance she had in Ryurin's life. She was even aware of, spoiler alert, how present Nadesco was in Ryurin's life, despite the years of distance. That's why I found it very touching when Yeylin told one of Syaoran's older sisters who Nadesco was. This after seeing her face in an advertisement.
Very good observations.
Yes. Okay, and then next up we have a comment from Mezel on chapter 21, which is the very first chapter in Arc 2, which is Blown Away Roses. And Mezel said, I can't believe it's taken me over 4 months to get into season 2. I was also in theater in high school and college. Now that I think about it, I auditioned for a musical when I was 14, and it was around the same time I started reading NT. Haha. I didn't get in, but afterwards I got really involved with backstage duties and ended up liking it more. I always loved how Sakura did the same thing when her audition went down the drain. I can understand why she didn't want to audition with the soda all over her, though. But in my experience, she probably could have talked to the director when it happened. Theater teachers tend to be very friendly and understanding.
You're right, Missile, but it's for the plot.
And yeah, my theater teacher was amazing, and he's one of my most favorite human beings. All right. And then we also have a comment from Mezel on chapter 22, which is No More Solitude. And she said, you two mentioned in the last episode, but I also love Mei Lin getting some love and spotlight. Good for her for calling out Syaoran, haha, which is also great for us as readers because she's the one person Syaoran really opens up to about his thoughts and feelings as a close confidant. You know she'd hound him if he didn't. Mezzle.
Yes, yes. I'm so glad that Malin is there to put Syaoran in place because he doesn't have anybody else to do that.
Yes. And that was it for our Alliance of the Stars section.
Yes, we are going to have another Diana segment to come, and that's probably going to be that is definitely going to be in the hiatus between our arc 2 and arc 3.
Yes, so look forward to that, guys.
Today we'll be discussing Chapter 33, Finding You. It was released on June 30th, 2001, which was 9 days after Chapter 32. The word count is 11,278. And I think by now we must be in August, and we're still in the 9th grade. Time for the summary. After Sakura woke up feeling embarrassed for sleeping on Syaoran's lap, he explained how he escaped from the police and how he removed the tracker on the locket. The locket fell open and revealed a picture inside. When they heard the police behind them, Syaoran realized that the microchip was still in his pocket. He and Sakura jumped off the train, and they found Kira-chan, who disposed the tracker for them in the ocean. In Kusaku, the two found a puppy that took a liking to Syaoran, to his annoyance, and to Sakura's delight, as it reminded her of a little wolf. They found the summer home and discovered that they would be sharing it with Aki, who invited Tomoyo, Chiharu, Takashi, Rika, Aaron, Erika, and even Miho for the duration of the best couple contest. Syaoran and Sakura were shocked to discover that they were in the finals too, and realized that was why Arima sent them to Kusaku. While they were against it at first, it was the prize money that lured them into it as they overspent in Tokyo. That night, the gang had a beach party. The same puppy from before found them, and Sakura got permission to keep him during her stay. Takashi was ready to tell the town's werewolf legend when Sakura scurried off to bed. Sakura saw someone come in her room in the middle of the night and flung her Syaoran bear at him, but it was Kaito who came to collect his locket and offer his gratitude. He, Sakura, and the puppy then went to Syaoran's room so Kaito could thank him as well. Kaito borrowed the diamond and sapphire as he needed to find the rubies, and promised that he'd return them. Before leaving, he refused to tell Sakura his name, even though he was really irked by Kaito-kun. The next day, Sakura named the puppy Wolfie-chan, and it also reminded Tomoyo of a wolf, like the one in the embroidery she made for Syaoran. When Sakura asked Miho why she came to Japan before the others in England, she reminded Sakura that her father had died, her mother was admitted to the hospital, and her brother ran away. Miho said she came to find her brother. So the chapter opens with Sakura sleeping on Syaoran's lap, and it's so sweet. And it's a reoccurring motif in new trials, so don't be embarrassed, Sakura.
I just wish, and again, this is probably 35-year-old Melanie talking, but I just wish they would just freaking talk about what just happened between them.
We know our Sakura and Sean way too well, and they're just not going to do that. Now, I like how we have a mention of Syaoran getting a job to pay back his mom for using the credit card, because there's a really nice foreshadowing for the future when he works at Lucien.
Yes, I was wondering if you picked up on that foreshadow, especially because I'm pretty sure, like, my brain came up with a foggy image of, I'm pretty sure there's that one point where Syaoran is taking the trash out at Lucien, and Sakura's like, oh, and I thought I would never see this or something. So I think this gets even a callback in the future. So we'll have to put a pin on this.
Yeah. Now we get a really fun fluff chapter in arc 3 where Syaoran's like applying for jobs left and right and doing a horrible job at it until he gets to Lucien. So that's definitely something to look forward to. So Syaoran's story of how he evaded the police, got rid of the microchip, and then met up with Sakura was downright harrowing, especially the train jumping part. Yikes.
Oh my gosh. And he slept in at Asuma's house too and had Asuma help him. So, that must have been like really stressful too, just thinking like you might be putting your friend in danger by having the cops show up any minute.
Honestly, I think he did too many things in that little time. I think with Chen, she got really creative.
Yeah. Poor guy. But I love the fact he mentions he got a reward at the end. It's like our one and only time this chapter that the kiss even sorta gets mentioned. So I loved that. I thought it was very cheeky.
Yeah, like we do get Sakura reminiscing about the kiss, but like, they're not talking about it.
No.
So the locket opens up and they discover a picture, and I thought we were gonna get more out of this, but it just left it at that. It's like, oh, there's a picture. Oh, we're giving it back to Kaiju. Okay, so it's gonna be a while before they put the pieces together.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned this one of the last times we talked is this is the moment where Sakura has known the whole time. And then I really don't think it's until almost end of arc 3, if not beginning of arc 4, that it gets mentioned again. It's a while. It's a while from now. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm like 85% sure.
About Kai's identity?
And well, about the fact that Sakura sort of knew.
Oh, sort of new. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because I think it really comes to light when like the imposter comes.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and that's arc 3.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely, I think, sometime a little bit, like a little bit
Yeah.
after that is when it gets mentioned.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because like Miho herself, she only finds out at the winter trip.
Right. Right.
But like
Okay.
I can't recall when like Sakura is gonna confront Kai about that. So it's gonna be interesting to rediscover.
I'm both looking forward to arc 3 and also terrified of arc 3.
Look, if we can get to It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday, we can get through yesterday's letter.
Oh my God. For real, I am dropping my Venmo this time for you all to send me comfort treats. It's going to be hard.
I thought the fact that Syaoran never got rid of the microchip after removing it was hilarious.
Very funny. You can tell he was sleep deprived.
But like, I want to know, why did they jump off the train instead of throwing the microchip off the train? Like, it could have been so easy.
I never thought of that.
Whee! Off a train into the ocean. What's the difference at this point? Like, I'm just glad that at this time he had the foresight to use a ward paper to like soften the blow. But I'm like, why are you jumping off if you could just throw it off? It's littering, but just a little litter.
My only thought it was maybe because they heard the siren, so maybe they just were just under pressure at the moment, and
Yeah.
them being them and being athletic and they can do anything. It was like the first thought that popped into their brain. Whereas you and I are not athletic and not at all. We'd be like, yeet out the window.
So they're off the train, and the beach sound effects that you use, they were really cool.
Thank you. Took a minute to find those, but I was happy to find those.
So we have an unconscious Sakura, and that is until Syaoran attempts mouth to mouth. It's just so we'll attribute this to sleep deprivation.
Oh my God. And my Kiro-chan voice was so rusty because I hadn't talked to him in a while. So I almost kind of forgot how I had his voice sound. But so if it was a little rusty at the beginning, that's why. But I think I got there in the end. But it's so funny, like, give her mouth to mouth.
Yes, so Arkio-chan is finally back in the picture, and it was the cutest reunion. Your song was delightful.
I was having a lot of fun.
And like, as much as it was nice not to have Kiro as a third wheel, I did miss him.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. And now we get the reason why S&S jumped off the train. because so that Kiro-chan can meet up with them, and he was tasked with dropping the microchip in the ocean where the police can't track it anymore.
That scene is so funny to me. Just like the fact Syaoran just takes him and literally just like punts him into oblivion. I was like, I'm pretty sure you could tell, but as I was reading that line during the audiobook, I broke at one point because I was laughing. So damn
Wish Chan
funny.
says that sometimes she'll write her scenes as if it was an anime, and this is definitely a case of that.
Yes.
Because like even the policeman scene when they were at their wits' end about tracking the microchip, we get them turning into chibi style or super deformed style, in despair when they found out the news that the case was dropped. Okay. In the policeman scene where they were at their wits' ends about tracking the microchip, we get them turning into chibi style in despair when they found out about the news that the case was dropped. Now, I thought that Wish Chan would have dropped that from New Trials if she were to have written it now. But if you look at the time, it's like she started New Trials in 1999 and we're 2001. So we're only like a couple years into her writing the story.
And she sort of mentions this in her author's note too, which we'll get to.
How do you pronounce like Kusako? Because I think in the audiobook you say Kusako, and I look at it phonetically and I'm just like Kusaku.
You know, I think because I think during like the one time I said Kusaku, and then like this, and then like I think the rest of the time I said Kosako. I don't know. I tried my best, y'all.
Yeah. Because it's like even me, it's like I will say Tuya, even though I know it's pronounced Toya. If I'm reading it, it's Tuya. So maybe Kusako is probably the same kind of thing. I'll say Kusako from now on. So they're on their way to Kusako, and we finally get to meet Wolfie-chan, even though Syaoran was none too pleased.
Oh, I'm so happy to see him. I love Wolfie-chan.
I know he makes such a great addition to the cast. So they find Arima's summer home and they are stunned with the size. And by then, Kiro-chan finds them again. And they quickly run into Aki before the rest of the gang comes along with Miho in tow. I love having the gang together again.
Yes. And one thing I wanted to mention to you is it's mentioned that they just have this like epic night of like staying up. Neither of them has showered, I assume. They're both still super gross and they still took the time to go get groceries. Like I would have just been like, let's just order a pizza. Like good for them for being so healthy and like conscious to go get groceries, but I would have been like, nope, tonight's a pizza night, tonight's a shower night, then maybe tomorrow we go get groceries.
How old are they now? 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds? They have, teenagers have stamina.
And we also got a cute moment that Sakura was kind of checking Syaoran out a little bit because he swung that heavy melon at Kiro.
Yes.
So I kind of in my head had her like staring at his bicep as he's like swinging it, you know? So I thought that was pretty cute.
So I love how SNS completely forgot that they were doing the best couples contest. Mind you, Tomoya wasn't forthcoming with the fact that they even placed. And I bet you anything that she and Arima colluded to get the two of them to Kusako.
100%. 100%.
So once again, money is a driving force behind agreeing to participate in something they clearly wouldn't do otherwise.
Yes. And in between here, we also get a really cute scene of Syaoran showing jealousy again towards Aki.
Oh,
and
yes.
the fact he punches him in the face, I think, right? No, that's Kai. Sorry. But he does punch Aki off at one point of Sakura. So I thought that was pretty cute.
Leave it to third parties to get any action going for between our favorite couple.
I also wanted to ask you, okay, so my question is, I wonder why Erika doesn't want to date Aki for real. Because he's good looking, he's rich, he's athletic, like he seems like her usual normal type. Like we've seen in the past, like she's dated a guy just to help her with her homework, or she was saying how she was dating that one guy because he was a CEO's son or something. So Aki seems very much up her street. So I'm wondering why she never like officially wanted to try and date him. What do you think?
Well, I think her relationships already have a short shelf life as it is. And she's using Aki as much as Aki's using her to be in this competition. And I think that if they actually start dating together, like dating each other, somebody's going to do something that's going to rip them apart. So I think both of them know right now that this is like a business relationship. And then in the long run, Aki is smart. Like we know he's smart. So I think in the long run, he might think that Erica is too vapid to date. And maybe like vice versa, Erica would want somebody who would spend more time with her rather than having like the captain of the basketball team and the editor of the newspaper. And he's doing so much extracurriculars. I can't see him giving her all the attention that she would want.
Yes, yeah, I think that's all very good points. And the only other thing I could think of is maybe she can kind of see that he's already a little bit too close with the friend group too. And it's what do they say? Like, don't get your honey from your honey pot or something like that. There's a saying. I'm not saying it correctly, but so that's the only other thing I could think of is that she's like dating him would be too close for comfort, whereas all the other ones she could just do a clean break and just be gone. So that's the only. But yeah, but you make some really good points as well for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how. Like, I think one of her longest relationships was with like Mike Kent, and he was a working man, but
Right. A man. Emphasis on man.
But we're not there yet.
You guys look at that rant again.
Yeah, but I think what Erica wants is somebody who will just like worship her, give her anything she wants, and then when she gets bored of it, she'll move on to the next.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we also get the start of the Aki Miho friendship / relationship. He definitely seems into her, but Erica was really quick and put him in his place. But I did like how they ended up bonding for real once the journalism arc begins. So they're gonna end up bonding. But right now, Aki is like, "Ooh, you're pretty."
Yes, I do ship them together because obviously I ship Tomeo with Iro, but yeah, I thought it was so cute that he was already like, "Hey, you're really hot. Do you want to go out with me?"
So that night, Erica screams because she saw something in the bushes, but it turned out to be Wolfie-chan again. And Aki lets Sakura keep a puppy, as if it was nothing. That's like a huge responsibility to take in. And I can say that as a first-time dog owner who is like not a puppy. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, puppies are a lot. Like Alex, we got him as a puppy, and Archie, we got him as a puppy. And though I love both my dogs, I have sworn off puppies for the rest of time. Like it's going to take a lot in order for me to adopt a puppy. Like 1, 2, sure, but like puppy, like heck no, never again. They are a lot.
Oh yeah, when we got my dog, it's like 1.5, and like I'm okay with that. So Takashi then tells a werewolf story that's tied to town, but Sakura cuts him off and asks about their rooms. And the fact that Aki is surrounded by the girls is pretty funny, especially when he sequesters the boys to the other side of the home.
We also so there's another thing I wanted to get your opinion on. It's spoken very quickly, but it's mentioned that Tomeo was able to get the stuff in the house because their door was unlocked. Do you think Kai unlocked it and let himself in and hung out there for a minute before he came to Kusuko? Or B, do you think Eron got in and that's when he stole the embroidery and made it into Wolfie Chan?
Ooh, I never put those two together because they
Mm-hmm.
had to use the embroidery to make Wolfie Chan. So of course we know that one of the dark ones was there. Ooh, yeah, because Kai wouldn't go in because there's nothing there he needs. He knows that the necklace is always with Sakura, and that's the only thing he wants from her. So we can rule that out. But the whole fact that Aaron needs the embroidery, I never even thought about that. I love that.
Yes, this is the first time I've ever picked up on it. And it's just such a flippant comment that Tomeo Ming's like, yeah, your front door was unlocked and I just let myself in. And then Sakura's like, oh, I thought I locked it, but okay. And then literally like it moves on. So this is like the first time I've ever was like, oh my God, I wonder if that's when Eron got in, or Rika got in there and got the embroidery to make Wolfie Chan.
That is such a good thing to pick up on. Wow, and that totally went over my head too. That's really amazing. Yeah, that's it. It's canon now. It's canon. Aaron went in, he took the embroidery, he's so full of himself, he didn't lock the door behind him. Wow. That makes total and complete sense.
I think so too. I think so too.
So it's the middle of the night, and Sakura saw a shadow in her room. She thought it was a werewolf, but actually it was the Kaito magician. Now we get a nice callback to Sakura's Syaoran bear, which is sweet. And so Kai was there because he was there to formally apologize and thank Sakura for everything. And we get a moment of vulnerability when he rested his head on her shoulder. Uh,
So sweet.
Yeah, she gives him back the locket, and he thanks Sakura to get her grandfather to drop the charges. So it's a very sweet moment between the two of them.
I also think he had an ulterior motive because he knew his sister was there. So I think he was also creeping on his sister.
Well, of course, it's like we know that like he was in New York when she was in New York. He was in London when she was London. So for sure, he's always checking up on her. So then they broke into Sharon's room so that Kai could thank him personally. And speaking of callbacks, Sharon flings the same golden hilted pocket knife from the airport.
And here's another time where you and her are like, I don't think this ever comes up again. And here we are.
I did not see that coming. Not at all.
I had no recollection of this, obviously. But yeah, I was like, oh, okay, there it is again.
So before he leaves, Sakura asks Kai if he had the operation, and he makes it sound like it's no big deal, even though we know otherwise. And then SNS gives him flack about not giving them back the diamond necklace that he was able to swipe from the thieves in Tokyo. And I keep forgetting about the trajectory that this diamond has. Like I already forgot that Sakura lost it, and then Sharon found it again, and this and that. So and he also swiped Sharon's sapphire ring because he's counting, and in the text it says he's counting on the four treasures to locate the ruby earrings. But like Melanie and I, we know that he has the mirror because he stole it from Sakura's grandfather. He has a necklace and he has the ring. But we were trying to remember, does he have the sword as well? Because he goes to Hong Kong to steal it, but then Mei Lin stops him from stealing it. Or does she give it to him? At this point, I'm fuzzy on the details.
Yeah, and I couldn't remember either. The only thing I could sort of think is maybe that's the reason why he did get shot in Hong Kong or right when he got back to Japan, whichever it was, is because he was successful in stealing the sword. And so maybe the Lee clan sicked the police on him in Hong Kong, and then the Japanese police force picked back up on it when he got to Japan because of the mirror. But also don't know. So if either of you, if any of you know, please do sound below because we would love to hear your theory.
So there was this sweet scene where Sakura tried to coax Kai to tell her his real name after he expressed his annoyance at the Kaito-kun nickname. And he completely evades the question before leaving because we know why. He doesn't reveal anything about his past.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, now for my favorite segment, interview with a former model. So, I know that walking in high heels is a given, but did you ever have to walk around with a book on your head, or is this something made up in media?
So, no, a long story short, no, but I do know they do actually do that in etiquette class, but runway walking is just a completely different ball game. Like how you walk and how you have to project yourself with your whole body. There's no way a book would stay on top of your head because you have to put your shoulders back and then you have to kind of lead with your hips. So you're kind of like sort of leaned back. I'm not explaining it very well, but and then I don't know, it's a whole thing. So no, I think I know it's an etiquette thing that they teach in etiquette class, but as far as like runway modeling, no, there's no way. There's no way, especially because how you have to stomp and shake your shoulders and stuff too. Like there's no way a book would be staying up there.
See,
unless the only thing I could think of is maybe like it was more pageant style because and so because I do know they do that for like a Miss America and stuff like that. So maybe Tomeo was thinking more pageantry, and then Sakura's mind went to, well, my mama's beautiful, my mama's a model, I should be good at this,
Yeah. Now, the reason I ask that is because we get to the next day where Tomoyo is training Sakura, and then she has her do this, and I'm like, I don't buy that. I don't buy that for a second. I have to ask Melanie.
I'll have to post a video of something I'm doing like an actual runway walk just to show you guys like how it just would not be possible to keep a book on your head. So cheer me on and maybe I'll do that. I'm pretty rusty though.
Okay. The puppy officially gets a name. Wolfie-chan. There's a great callback to Sakura's embroidery for Syaoran, and of course, we know now that it's foreshadowing.
Yes.
Now, we get an important scene with Miho, which kicks off with why she's hadn't been back in Japan for 2 years. Now, Sakura asks why she's back, and we get a flashback of Ariel talking about Miho's past once again. We get to relive the tragic scene, which is actually 100 more times heartbreaking when listening to the audiobook.
Thank you.
Now, to your recollection, is this the same chunk of text that we got when Ariel told the story in Arc 1?
It is. And technically, I probably should have just grabbed my audio from that and pasted it in, but I was just way too lazy. So I just redid it completely again.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was thinking about that. I'm like, I wonder if Melanie just copy pasted or if she redid it. I'm like, I think Melanie is going to re-record it.
She knows me well, guys.
And that's pretty much how this chapter ends. So just fitting for the title, Finding You. Dark Force's corner, Sakura doesn't use any cards, but in this chapter, it's the setup for the wolf.
Yes.
And moving on to fan art spotlight. Now, regardless of Kiro-chan making a big comeback, we'll have to agree that the newcomer Wolfie-chan is stealing all of our hearts and the show.
Yes.
So we've actually had quite a few drawings of Wolfie-chan, including one from Wish-chan herself. But the one that I've decided to highlight is by Selenity Shiro. And she drew a super cute fan art of Sakura playing with Wolfie-chan back in 2006. And her outfit is really summery, and I love how lively Wolfie-chan is.
Yes, and I feel like Selenity does a really good job of showing him looking very wolf-like, which I think is really good because I think some of the other ones I've seen, he looks a little bit like more like a Labrador, I think, which is maybe what Vega would have looked like, or an eagle. But yeah, I just think he's so cute.
And I actually used this version of Wolfie-chan when I was doing the wolf card. And so I just drew a whole bunch of, or just put together a whole bunch of Sakura cards. And when it came time to doing the wolf card, I took her picture and I turned it pink. And then for the end of arc 3, when that really, really sad thing happens, and then the card turns gray, I actually recolored the card as gray without realizing that there was such a thing as grayscale.
Oh no.
I used Microsoft Paint and I colored pixel by pixel in different shades of gray.
Oh, sweet Preya.
Yeah, so it's really one that I've labored on.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. Okay, Melanie, take it away with the author's notes.
All right. So kind of short and sweet, but we have, well, now everyone's by the seaside. Several notes. Sakura was referring to, I'm probably going to say this wrong, but Eugiri Yuhi, a character from Ayashi no Seres, who fights using steel chopsticks. It may sound strange, but it's really cool. Drool, he's so cool. He's caring, kind, great sense of humor, will do anything to protect Aya, his love. He's great at cooking, he's handsome, he's so good at fighting, and he's willing to give up his love for Aya's happiness. What more can you ask for? Anyway, he's up there on my list with Syaoran, so you may understand how cool he is. Oh yeah, and Ayashi no Seres is a manga by Yu Watasi, Fushigi Yugi, enclosed a pic of Yuhi. So if you go on to like her actual wishluv.com, she does have a picture of this character. And what's funny was before I was reading this, I kind of pulled it up. I saw the character, and in my head, I was like, he looks a lot like Fushigi Yugi. And yeah, it turns out makes sense because it's by the same author. And then Wish-chan also, she has a picture referring of Kaido's outfit. And then she's just saying to refer back to chapter 20 if you really want to dive into Miho's past, or we could read Amethyst wonderful summaries that Preya made for us. And then we also go, hee hee, I separated this chapter into 2 separate chapters because it was too long. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Miho's back, and so is Kiro-chan. Missed him and ended it on kind of a cliffhanger. Random thing, but depending on what TV, music, and books I most recently watched, listened, read, the mood of my stories change. When I have the Fushigi Yugi ending theme playing in my head, I usually have cliffhangers and drama and suspense. When something like Phantom of the Opera is in my head, my writing turns rather dark and morbid. When I read light and fluffy shoujo manga with kissy kiss sweet scenes, my writing turns light and fluffy. When I watch super deformed characters in anime, my characters all turn super deformed. Hee hee. Sorry for the inconsistency.
Oh, come on. The inconsistency is what makes it fun.
For sure. I appreciate that there's parts in this where it would just translate so well as an anime. I just want it to be an anime so bad.
Luckily, we have our imaginations.
Yes. Maybe if I win the lottery one day, I'll just put forth the money to turn it into an anime, and Clamp will just have to get over it.
And it doesn't even have to be a whole anime, just like, certain scenes. Like, imagine that kiss scene animated. Oh my god.
Oh, man.
But until then, you have been listening to New Trials the Podcast, or It Must Rain for There to Be a Rainbow.
You've been listening to New Trials the Podcast. Please be sure to check out the audiobook version of this fan fiction that you can find anywhere that you can find this podcast. Also, please be sure to check out the Facebook fan page for New Trials, where a big part of our discussions happen nowadays, and where you may be highlighted in our Alliance of the Stars section. And please be sure to stick around next time when we discuss Chapter 34, Beyond the Widest Ocean.